1 billion people. That is how many humans will watch the opening game of the 2026 World Cup. And it will be played here, in America. The one country on earth that built an entire sporting culture and left football out of it entirely. No high-speed trains, no football tradition, no culture of the game, just the biggest economy in the world, the biggest stadiums, and the biggest check FIFA has ever seen. This is not a love story. This is a transaction, and America just signed the contract. Let's be clear about something. America is not hosting the World Cup because it loves football. Walk into any sports bar in Dallas, in Chicago, in Los Angeles. You will find screens showing the NFL, the NBA, baseball, real football is an afterthought. And yet, 11 American cities are about to welcome the entire world. Millions of fans from Brazil, from Mexico, from Germany, from Japan, all descending on a country that cannot name its own national team's starting lineup. How did this happen? And more importantly, who benefits? Because it is not who you think. Look at the official logo of the 2026 World Cup. 3 flags, 3 nations, Canada, Mexico, the United States. It is presented as a historic collaboration, the first World Cup ever hosted by 3 countries simultaneously, a celebration of North American unity. But look closer at the numbers. Mexico has 3 host cities. Canada has 2. America has 11. 11 out of 16. That is not a collaboration. That is a takeover with paperwork. The final will be played in New York, the most watched game in human history. Hosted in a city where the local football team plays in a stadium that struggles to fill its seats on a regular Sunday. Canada and Mexico are on the poster. America owns the building. And FIFA knew exactly what it was doing, because this was never about 3 nations sharing a dream. This was about one economy being too large to ignore, and 2 neighbors being useful enough to include. To understand this, you need to forget everything you know about sport. This is not about football. This has never been about football. FIFA is not a sports organization. It is a financial empire. And like every empire, it goes where the money is. America has 330 million consumers. It has the most lucrative advertising market on the planet. It has stadiums that hold 100,000 people, already built, already paid for. FIFA does not need to invest a single dollar in infrastructure. America provides the stage. FIFA collects the ticket. The numbers are staggering. FIFA projects over $6 billion in revenue from this tournament alone, tax-free. Because one of FIFA's core demands to any host nation is complete tax exemption on all tournament profits. America agreed. Of course it did. But here is where the geography becomes brutal. 16 host cities, spread across a continent of 9 million square kilometers. A fan following their team could travel from Los Angeles to New York to Dallas, covering more distance than a flight from Europe to Africa. And how do they get there? Not by train. America has no high-speed rail network connecting its cities, not efficiently by public transport either. Most host cities have metro systems that collapse under the weight of a normal rush hour, let alone 80,000 football fans arriving simultaneously. America was built for the car. And you cannot park 80,000 cars next to a stadium. Cities are now scrambling. Billions are being spent on temporary transport solutions, security infrastructure, fan zones, money that will be spent in 6 weeks, and then the tournament leaves. And this is where the contrast becomes impossible to ignore. While FIFA books its billions, tax-free, the cities hosting these games are writing checks they will spend years paying back. Atlanta, Seattle, Boston, each one investing hundreds of millions in infrastructure, policing, logistics, and the ordinary American, priced out of their own city. Hotel prices in host cities are already tripling for tournament weeks. Landlords evicting long-term tenants to list their apartments on Airbnb at 10 times the normal rate. Restaurants introducing special event menus that price out the locals who eat there every week. The World Cup arrives. The world watches. And the person who has lived in that city for 20 years cannot afford to be there. FIFA leaves with the profit. The city keeps the debt. The citizen pays the bill. In 1950, Brazil lost the World Cup final on home soil. The country fell silent. People wept in the streets. It is still called the greatest national trauma in Brazilian history. In 2006, Germany hosted the tournament and rediscovered its national identity. Streets filled with flags, with singing, with a pride that had been buried for decades. What happens in America when the final whistle blows? The honest answer is probably nothing. The screens switch back to the NFL. The stadiums return to American football. The moment passes. Because America did not fall in love with this tournament, America rented itself out to it. And Canada and Mexico, the two nations whose names appear on the logo, watch from the sidelines as the world's attention flows, inevitably, toward the 11 cities that matter. 3 flags, 1 winner. And it was never going to be anyone else. So ask yourself the real question. Did America choose to host the World Cup, or did the World Cup choose America because it had no better option? Because what we are watching in 2026 is not a celebration of football. It is the most expensive proof in history that passion is optional when your economy is large enough. 1 billion people will watch. FIFA will collect its billions. The cities will manage their debt quietly. And America will move on, unchanged, unbothered, and already looking forward to the Super Bowl. 3 flags on the logo. 1 country that was always in charge. The world came to America for football. America was never really there.